This feels more like a spin-off than a true sequel, as it plods along in what was a monumental and complete waste of time. It spends most of its runtime rehashing the original court scenes and interviews and faffing around with stupid songs rather than pushing the story forward. The Joker 2. Hey guys, if you love watching films and you want to know if a film is decent or not, then check this review out and let me help you to make your mind up. What the hell have I just seen? This one is up there with one of the most disappointing and shockingly bad films I've ever had the displeasure of watching. And I say that as I love Phoenix, as he's one of the most solid actors around. But hey man, the premise: struggling with his dual identity, failed comedian Arthur Fleck meets the love of his life, Harley Quinn, whilst they are incarcerated at the Arkham State Hospital, and then the mayhem and carnage ensues. Or does it? A psychological thriller of a film that is gritty, intense, and one that explores the complex themes of mental illness and societal breakdown. I can't believe what I've just watched. Kidding me? This feels more like a spin-off than a true sequel, as it plods along in what was a monumental and complete waste of time. It spends most of its runtime rehashing the original court scenes and interviews and faffing around with stupid songs rather than pushing the story forward. The first hour was next to pointless and felt like a long, torturous and strung out snooze fest. The writing is average to below average, and that is me being nice, and it seems only to service the next cheesy musical dream sequence to the next. What codswallop. I was so irritated that The Joker had the potential to be something special, a film that you would savour, remember as a decent attempt at a sequel. But you will forget about this, and you'll want to erase it very firmly from your memory as soon as the end credits roll, if of course you even make it that far. It was a raw, dark film that didn't need gimmicks or unnecessary changes to make a statement. Joaquin Phoenix's performance is good in that he's just a solid, great actor. But it lacks the raw intensity, the chutzpah, the screen presence that defined his portrayal in the original Joker. Then we've got Lady Gaga, who was more reserved and seemed to intentionally tone down her usual pluck and her flamboyance, which some have said was so as to avoid overshadowing Joaquin Phoenix, which left for a slightly less than dynamic performance that could have at least salvaged something from this utter tripe. However, I will say that this felt more like a musical promoting Lady Gaga's new album than the dark psychological thriller that I was expecting. Harley Quinn's introduction actually brought no impact or any depth, and her presence felt more unnecessary rather than complimentary. We waited for a strong sequel, and after a 5-year hiatus, and then we get this, a plundering, blundering mess. Say that after a few beers, plundering, blundering mess. Anyway, and the movie was a complete drag fest. At times, I thought right now, this is the moment that The Joker 2 is now going to take a turn for the better. But again, my hopes were dampened as the film just deteriorated, and I prayed for the end as it got worse. So in a nutshell, save yourself the time, effort and money, as the script was terrible, and only watch this if you are a die-hard Gaga fan. I mean, while some scenes are dramatically well executed, they just failed to captivate the audience, making this movie feel tedious from the start. Now, if Joker 2 was meant to expand on the psychotic and tortured psyche of Arthur Fleck, then I would say that it succeeded only in expanding my already burgeoning boredom. This was a jumbled up mess, a courtroom drama, a depressive musical, a twisted love story, but none of which deliver. The first film was so intriguing, with its slow descent into madness, the slow burn of insanity seeping onto the screen as Fleck started his spiral into the madness of the world around him. But in this sequel, this was replaced with a frantic, weird and disjointed attempt to outdo its predecessor without no sense of direction or any purpose. As I've said, the excessive musical numbers really disrupted the mood. Fleck's evolution in Joker 2 is depicted with a series of erratic and isolated and strange scenes that any cohesive narrative would have at least attempted to thread together with some credibility. The entire film was painfully boring, with most of it set inside a dull, lifeless jail. The movie failed to capture the essence of the Joker character, feeling more like a hollow follow-up than a meaningful sequel. There was no excitement, no creativity, just a dragged out, monotonous plot. It is a savagely ridiculous misfire that takes an awful long time to get nowhere, and then it struggles to say anything coherent along the way. Joker Folie, Deux is a production that no one asked for, and a movie that I have to say that just didn't land one bit for me. Just by cutting the awful music would have saved me 1 hour of my life that I'm never getting back. I honestly expected something much better than this. Honestly, it didn't feel like a Joker film at all, but let me know what you think, as everyone has got their own opinion. If you're a fan of the first one, then don't waste your time, as this one is pointless, it's unworthy of being a proper sequel, and well, it lost the entire spirit, the intensity and the message of the first one. See ya, pals, I'll see you for the next one. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.